Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to talk about why, for the most part, I am dead inside, but I actually have some optimism for the future of the DCU. So, James Gunn recently talked about Superman, obviously, very highly anticipated film of next year. Next year is going to be pretty crazy, by the way, because I think we're getting Superman. I think we're also getting Fantastic Four, right? What else are we getting? We're getting like Captain America: Brave New World. Pretty sure we're getting like Avatar: Fire and Ash. I want to say another Mission Impossible movie. Like there is an onslaught of like big movies coming out next year, but definitely one of the more highly anticipated ones is without a doubt James Gunn's Superman. And James Gunn is a filmmaker that in general I'm going to get excited for anything that he directs, you know? Like, yes, I'm excited to see like a brand new DC interconnected universe start. Maybe this time they won't shit the bed, but even beyond that, just the fact that it's a James Gunn movie is going to get me excited. And James Gunn recently was talking on Threads, and he really just highlighted the main reason why I am excited for this DCU and the main reason why I actually have some amount of faith in James Gunn as a filmmaker. So somebody asked him, would you also say that you're 98% done with Superman? James Gunn says, heck no. Once you're done shooting, you've only just begun. Still lots of editing, VFX, sound, and scoring to be done. And then somebody replied to him, reshoots can also add a lot on time, no? Or a lot on time too? James Gunn says, I don't know. I've done a total of 1 day of reshoots on my past 2 films combined. And then somebody asked him after that, what's your method for not doing a lot of reshoots? I'm curious. James Gunn responds, number 1, over-prepare. Number 2, don't start shooting until I have a finished script my whole team is happy with. Number 3, hire actors and department heads I know can do their jobs. Number 4, surround myself with people who will challenge me and not just yes sir everything. Number 5, ask myself daily, are there any small imperfections in the script or what we're shooting that might end up feeling like huge imperfections when we cut the film together? And then number 6, 1 and 2 again. It's actually so bogglingly frustrating. I don't think that's a word. But it is so mind-boggling that this just isn't the norm in modern day Hollywood. That like when it comes to like big blockbuster movies, that we don't just have like it's not the norm to write a script, make sure that everybody involved is happy with that script, and then you just make the movie off of that script. Like it's like we've heard so many horror stories with Marvel over the years about how like Marvel, they will just start shooting a movie when they don't have their third act completed. It's insane. Like James Gunn was actually talking about it in another interview where he says, I think sometimes what you see in films is you'll see sections where the visual effects look great, and then you get to a section that's like, what is going on? And a lot of times you find out that's because they didn't put that section in until a month before they had to lock the film. And like you hear this and you instantly think back to like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and the Marvels and Thor: Love and Thunder, and it's like yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Cuz like one of the more notable things, and one of the things that I noticed that I talked about in my review, is I was like, how the hell does Guardians of the Galaxy 3 look as good as it does, but Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which had just come out earlier that year, looks as ass as it does? Because they're both like incredibly VFX heavy films. They're both like largely set in like fantasy worlds, right? Like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was set in the quantum realm, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is like set out in space on different planets, on like spaceships and whatnot. And it's like, and yeah, and you have to assume that James Gunn, and this is actually something that I kind of figured at the time, but like, yes, it is absolutely the case. James Gunn like has openly said it here that James Gunn was just better prepared going into Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, you have to imagine, like, they probably didn't have their script done when they started shooting. They probably changed their minds on stuff when they started shooting. Like, there's been reports, and I don't know exactly what's confirmed and what's not confirmed, that like there were like different endings, right? There was supposed to be an ending where Scott was like trapped in the quantum realm, or like an ending where Kang didn't beat Scott and whatnot. And like, just watching that movie, you can just tell that the VFX team didn't have enough time to really make the VFX look good. And when you look at the way that the movies are shot, right? Like, so many movies, right? And I would even put like Deadpool and Wolverine, as much as everybody loves the movie doesn't look great, right? Like, the way that it's shot very flatly, you know what I mean? Like, it's just everybody, like, all of the shots are just like, they look very flat. It looks like they're in front of a green screen, or they're just like obviously on a set. And if I had to guess, that one of the main reasons why is because the movie probably went through so many changes throughout the process. They probably didn't have everything ironed out, because that's just not how the Marvel pipeline works, unless you're James Gunn and you can, I don't know, either demand certain things, or maybe since Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of detached from the MCU, they kind of just let James Gunn cook. I'm not entirely sure, but it's just insane that that you don't finish your script before making your movie. It's just like, how is that not the norm? It's so crazy to me. And yes, and that is just that thing right there makes me just so much more optimistic about the DCEU, because, and James Gunn has actually said this in the past, right? He said that that they are never going to start production until they have a script finished. That's big. That's big. Because from what I understand, I think that probably also means pre-production, maybe. So like, he's probably not going to spend or like waste like millions of dollars having like VFX artists work on a thing that they think they're gonna do, and then James Gunn goes in and is like, never mind, we're not going to do that anymore, because Marvel does that. Marvel does that all the time. And it's just such a waste of time and resources. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know, like, listen, we'll see. Obviously Marvel is trying to right the ship, but like, in my opinion, as far as when it comes to the production of Marvel movies, right? And like the craft of filmmaking and yada yada yada, I kind of feel like if they really want to right the ship, I'd like to see them get back to where they were, like with that original Iron Man movie and with that original like Thor and Captain America movies. Because if you go back and you look at those movies, they low-key look better than even a lot of like Phase 2 and Phase 3 movies, you know? Like, as much as I love, movies like Captain America Civil War, or trying to just think of like beloved movies that I'm forgetting, or like Black Panther. Like, as much as I do enjoy a lot of these movies, and even though overall I would say that they're probably better movies than like stuff like, Captain America First Avenger or the first Thor movies, you can't deny that a lot of those early Phase 1 movies have a better, they feel a little more cinematic. They don't feel as just like stock MCU Marvel Studios, like gray filter. They're obviously, it's like everything is shot super flatly. And I think a lot of that does come from just like those first core movies of Phase 1 movies were probably just made under a more traditional studio or studio structure, right? It's not this like intense MCU pipeline where they're just shitting out movies and they have to be made like on a certain pace, and they have to be reworked and redone in way too short amount of time, and that just kind of strips out the possibility for true artistic expression and true preparation. So I don't know. I don't want to yap about this for too long, but yeah, man, like just hearing this makes me so much more excited for Superman, and it makes me so much more excited for everything that they're doing in this new DCU. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.